Hey guys, welcome to another edition of a Writer's Life Academy. My name is Stephen R. Burns. I'm your coach. I'm a writer, editor, and the creator of the online course, How to Write in 90 Minutes. Hey guys, my name is Stephen R. Burns, and I am an author, writer, coach, and the creator of the online course, How to Write in 90 Minutes. No, that wasn't a glitch. And that is the exact problem that we are going to look at today. And it's symptomatic of a couple of issues. So what we're going to do today, guys, is take a look at a couple of those issues and, what we can do to overcome it. And of course, the problem is the tendency to repeat either words or ideas in close proximity. Okay. This is a problem. So let's take a look at it. Now, it might not seem as glaring as what I did off the top, but for a reader, it's really noticeable. And that, as I'm sure you've been aware, if you've been paying attention to these videos, is only good for a writer when they're finished the piece, like when someone's finished it, not during it. So today I'm going to show you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. We're going to break it down, why this happens, and how to get rid of it. All right? Okay, let's go. Number one, it's common for people to repeat themselves. Like if you ever go to a family dinner and you or your dad or your aunt are telling the same story that they've told, that's kind of the macro of this. The micro would be the typical response you would give someone to similar questions. If somebody asked you about the latest TikTok star, your favorite show, or a hot new song, your response isn't going to change that much, right? And of course, that's fine because they're different situations and it's your opinion and that hasn't changed. And maybe it's based on something you watched, something someone else said, but humans are mimetic, so it's not a big deal. But the tendency for most people is to repeat what they see, and that includes writers, particularly students and beginners. They repeat what they've written, and they don't see it. I can tell 6 different people, what's going on at work, the same story, and it's okay. But when I write, I cannot repeat words or ideas in the same piece. Now, because for a reader, it sounds like a glitch. And when they realize it's not a glitch, anything else you've written is probably going to be dismissed, right? When I listen to something that skips, like a scratched record, that's all, CD. Now, this happens for 2 reasons. Number one, you aren't editing your work. And number 2, you aren't looking for it. And the second one might be most important, but let's go back to the first one. Guys, if you don't edit your work, the repeat is inevitable. I'm telling you. I've always taught that writing is rewriting, but that's not just true for essays. If you send out an email without looking at it again or putting it away and giving space, this is going to happen. You just can't see it on your first draft. And even if you do edit, you have to look for it. You have to consciously look for repeated words and ideas in close proximity. And again, if you don't, so it's like a word search. Why have you used stuck 3 times in a paragraph? Because all the reader sees is stuck and not in a good way. And they probably never get off it. Or if they do, they'll be skeptical about some of the other things you write. And so this begs the obvious question: how do we fix it? Hopefully you were paying attention, because as is often true, the answer lies in the question. Edit. Put whatever you've written aside, depending on the size of the piece, from a day to a week. Go back to it, make it part of your conscious search. Look for repeated words, and yes, that includes names. Now, I want to give you an example before I continue, okay? Read this with me. I'll put it up on the slide. Johnny parked his 71 Camaro in his garage and rubbed the steering wheel after he'd shut off the engine. He loved that car. He'd loved it ever since he bought it at the Cleveland National Car Show 3 years ago. The car had been his dad's favorite, too. Sometimes Johnny wondered if he loved the car because of its smooth ride and handling, or because his dad had loved it so much. Had he bought the car because his dad had loved it, or because he had? Some days he couldn't answer that question. He gave a light tap to the steering wheel. No, he definitely loved this car. Now, what do you see? The first might be obvious. The word car is used 6 times in a single paragraph. Can't do that. Now, the other problem may be less obvious, but it has to do with repeating ideas in such a short space. Johnny loves the car. Johnny's father loves the car. Now, this may be important to the story. And yes, this could easily be an anecdote in a short nonfiction piece, right? But both ideas are repeated multiple times. And there's also a problem here with telling and not showing, but we're going to forget about that for now. So the first thing that you address when you see this situation is you want to lock down one idea first before you get to the words. And the way to do that is to make a single strong statement, that one idea, just one. So we're going to rewrite it. Okay. So let's throw it back up on the screen. Read it with me. Johnny parked his 71 Camaro in his garage inside after he shut off the engine. He loved that car. He'd loved it since he bought it at Cleveland National Car Show 3 years ago. His dad had gaped when he'd first brought the car home, immediately asking for the keys. He'd spent 10 minutes just sitting behind the steering wheel and smiling like he discovered the fountain of youth. Sometimes Johnny wondered, did he love the car because of its smooth ride and handling or because of his father? Some days he couldn't answer that question. He gave a light tap to the steering wheel. No, he definitely loved this car. Okay, so that's better. There's emphasis on his father's response, and the idea is a little less repetitive, right? But it still needs work, especially since we were using car 5 times. Let's try one more time. Here's the latest slide. Johnny parked his 71 Camaro in his garage inside after he shut off the engine. He'd loved his baby ever since he brought it home 3 years ago. His dad had gaped when he pulled into the driveway, immediately asking for the keys. He'd spent 10 minutes sitting behind the steering wheel and smiling like he'd just discovered the fountain of youth. Sometimes Johnny wondered, did he love it because of his smooth ride and handling or because of his father? Some days he couldn't answer that question. He gave a light tap to the steering wheel. No, he definitely loved this car. Now, I've rearranged a few things. I've cut and used stronger terms, like baby, different term. The word car is only used once, and it's in the closing sentence. Guys, can you feel the difference? It no longer repeats. It shows you how much Johnny and his father love the car, and then poses the question central to the scene about why. Guys, this is the key to not repeating is this. Your first draft is designed to get your idea down. What are you trying to say? Fiction or non? Just write. Are you writing about a movie or an event? Okay, don't worry about the content. What you want is the context. And then after you know what you want the paragraph to do, you can go back and give it the shower and shave and put the makeup on and make it look good. So remember what I said. It's natural to repeat yourself. Edit your work, look for repeating, be it ideas or words, and cut to the idea that you want from that paragraph. All right, guys, as I said twice in the opening, my name is Stephen R. Burns. I'm happy to have you guys with me. Happy to be your coach. And listen, there's a free guide. As I always mention, there's a free guide down below. Just put in your email, go to my website and you'll put in your email so I know where to send it. And the other thing too is if you could click like or subscribe, it makes a huge difference. Anyway, appreciate you all. Thanks for your patience this week. I was a little bit sick at the end of this week because I try to put these videos out on the Wednesday or Thursday. This should be out Monday or Tuesday. And of course, my latest podcast goes up on Monday as well. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. We'll talk to you soon.